Hello and welcome back. Castle here. Today we're gonna jump right in and we get started with some Railcraft stuff, as well as we're gonna get into some Buildcraft oil processing. We'll handle immersive engineering oil processing at a future point, but let's dive right in. All right. So just talking through the plan, I've set up the rail line here. And I've set up an area here where we're going to set up the oil processing. Then here I've built four Railcraft tanks, which are being funky, as they sometimes do. Well, it's still working. That's okay. And we're going to come and we're going to put oil in this one. And we'll reserve these for the fuels that are produced. And we'll set up that piping and whatnot here at the end. Let's go ahead and get our train set up. That's how we're going to get the fuel from, or the oil from wherever we're drilling. So we've got that site we already set up. That's what we're going to do today. And then in the future, I'll show you how I set up the rail lines and whatnot. But later on, we'll just have rail lines that run from wherever these other oil sources are. And they'll have a chunk loader on the train, which I haven't built yet. We need to craft that, but let's set it up. So I've crafted this steam locomotive. We're going to need that, some tank carts. We're going to set up some routing stuff, which would be cool. And so we start with the locomotive. We're using a steam locomotive. Maybe we'll set up an electric one later. It needs steam to run, obviously, but we'll put in water and fuel. And what that'll do is it'll, heat up and produce the steam. Now, if you don't keep this filled with water, ooh, dang it. Also, be careful where you hit your water bucket. It might be better to actually just go into the train's gooey. I've done that lots of times where I wash the track away. But let's take a look here, and we're full. We'll also set up at some point a spot where if the trains come along, there's a way to detect if it's got enough water or fuel, and if it doesn't, we'll have a station where it can pull into automatically and fill up. So let's go ahead and we're going to put a bed cart right after this. That'll allow us to sit in here, sleep. That's pretty cool. But that way we can adjust the speed if we're riding the train. And then we'll do these tank carts. And the more we do, the more it can run in a trip. So we shift, right click. Well, crouch right click. You don't have shift. Oh, and it'll be close enough to each other. You just right click with the crowbar. But if you just right click with the crowbar, it'll just move up. And then shift right clicking will create a link. Alright, so now that we've got that going, we just have to go in here to the train and we hit idle, and that'll get it starting to go. If we hit running, it'll heat up too, but as soon as it gets enough steam, it'll take off, and we don't want that right now. So let's get that warmed up, and while we're doing that, we'll come set up these routing tables. So over here, I've got this switch actuator motor, and there's a manual one. So if we come in here and we search Railcraft, we got these different actuators, right? So we've got one that's just a switch. You can right click it, you can run it with a redstone signal, you can do other stuff to switch it, and that might be useful for what you need. This one uses the signal tuner, which we'll set up a few of those. That's these here where you can basically detect if there's trains on the track and have it move to a different track based on what you're seeing. Very important. Or there's the routing one, which uses a routing table. So we're going to look at the Railcraft's website, and it'll show us here the different kind of syntax you can use to route those. And that's how we're going to do this here. Is basically we're going to have this train. It's going to be automatic, and it's going to be set to, we'll name it oil train. And so we'll have these that anytime it's oil, it'll pull it in here, come here, and then come out here, which we might need to put a switch actuator. We'll need a routing one here too, because otherwise it'll defaultly come this way, and I don't have anywhere to go right now. So I don't have to track. And then we want any trains coming in this way that are marked oil to turn here. So they come in here. I've got a fluid unloader. We got a pipe underneath here that leads up there. So let's take a look at the different naming stuff we need to do for the routing. So as we're seeing here, this is on the Feed the Beast wiki. Talks about this. So you've got destination, which is what we're going to be using. It's basically you can set a condition, and you can set it to null if there's none. Only match cards that do not have a set destination, right? You can set it by owner, the name of the train. So we could actually just name the train something if we wanted, and wouldn't have to use a destination. But I'll explain why we're going to use destination in a little bit. Color. So I've colored mine black and orange. I could say, you know, I'm going to color all my trains based on if, you know, sorry, color them all based on where they're going to do or what their function is, and then I could drop by that if I wanted to. Very useful. Needs fuel, right? That's what we're going to use later for making that kind of station where if it passes it and needs fuel, it'll pull in. And then you can have a redstone condition, right? Whether the routing thing's been, so you can still use this as a redstone part, and you can combine these and do different things, some and or not stuff, which is pretty good here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up it as destination. So how you set the destination of a train is through these golden tickets, or you can actually use just regular tickets to switch them in and out, right? So if I take this golden ticket and I hold it in my hand and right click, I can set its destination. I'm going to call this oil, right? I'm going to hit done, and then if I put this oil destination ticket in here, you see it actually changes the name of it here. Now, if I take this out, it's still going to be oil. It's going to be oil until we put another ticket in there, which is great. And just leave this in here. We don't need it right now. And we'll set up once we start having more destinations that we have tracks to. I had a server where we set up a station where you could click a button where you wanted to go, and it would pull a train out. And it would put you on the train and take you to the destination, which was pretty cool. Maybe we'll set that up here. We'll see how things go. It was a little bit different because we had people's bases and other destinations, but so it goes. So then what we do is we then take these routing tables, and we're going to say switch on destination equals oil. Now there's other stuff you can put in here. You can also do, for example, you can make it so it searches the first part of the word or in the middle of the word or something like that. So if you wanted to have this destination be oil east, you can have some routers that say anything that's oil come in here, but then other ones that say oil if it's oil east, put it this way, if it's oil west, go that way, right? So there's some really powerful things you can do with this, but we're just going to keep it really basic for now. We're going to call this oil routing for now. Alright, I'm going to come and take this and we're going to stick it. First off, I'm going to actually copy this. So you can copy these books by just placing them like that. And there we go. It switched because this train is destination as well. Probably should have waited until this was pulled forward. Let's see, this should be heated up by now. Let's pull it forward just a little bit. Alright, see it switch back. So when this train comes back, it'll turn up here. It'll stop by this unloader and unload any of the oil that's in here. So let's actually take a ride on the train, and let's stop and wait till the next running. Alright, here we are at our next fork in the road. So up on that hill is where our oil was that we've pumped. So anytime this is coming along, we're going to want it to turn this way. And then in turn, when it's returning, we're going to want it to come down this track, right? So this is allowing it to go straight. If it's coming this way to come up, if it's coming this way to go up. And what we'll do is we'll add another actuator here later. I was just focused on what we're doing. So real quick, I need to copy this book again. And that should be all we need it for. And we'll put it here and here. That one will allow us to come back. Alright, so let's ride this the rest of the way. So, obviously I set something up wrong there. Let's actually sleep real quick. Use our bed cart. Ouch. What is hurting? Oh, alright. So, obviously set this up wrong. We're going to back this up. And then fix this. I think what's wrong here is I need to change this to oil, which if I come in here, say I want to filter this to equal oil, and I want to change this to process until out of room or supply. I think that's the other option again. Manual. Keep pristine cards. The complete one should have worked, I thought. The other thing we can do is we can take this and we can say do the take cards. I thought if you didn't supply that it would do it, but it's been a minute since I said one of these. Oh, wrong way. You gotta shift click. Alright, so let's come in here. Let's hit reverse. Now, this should actually just stop it as soon as it hits that. Now. Oh, see, there we go. Oh, no. Oh, you know what I forgot? We need to put a train locking thing, because all this is doing is emitting a redstone signal. Alright. We need one of these right here. Which one? This one. Locking trap kit. So, I'm going to go make one of these, and we'll be right back. Alright. I got these main. We'll actually set this one up and then we'll go back up there. So if I set this on here, I think what I need this to be is, if you right click this with a crowbar, it'll tell you what it is. Train lockdown mode, holding mode, train holding mode, boarding mode, train boarding mode, pretty sure lockdown mode's the one, what we want. Or holding mode. Let's try this. See what happens when we do this. Forward. Oop, 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 oop. Dang it. Oh crap. So we're gonna shut this down so it cools down. So we put in water now, it'll explode. We forgot to. I forgot to do something here. We forgot to tell this to only do oil. See, oh, there we go. It worked because it released it. So, problem is now I've got a bunch of water in my tank. Now, you're never going to want to do this besides when you have stuff in your tank you don't care about. But if I come and destroy this, this thing will stay valid and you keep the materials as long as you don't destroy this middle part. So if I get rid of this part, it should actually just reset the tank. Right? So if your tank gets blown up on the corner or whatever, you can still save all your stuff in there, which is nice. You gotta protect that bottom piece because that's what stores all the MBT data. Right. In fact, we can come in here, put oil in there now, and see how this is doing. I think we can put water in it now. Not 100% sure. Let's hope it doesn't blow up on us. I think we're going to wait till it's all the way cooled off before we do anything with it. Just to be safe. We can push these forward though. See, there we go. It'll actually push them forward. Oh. Oops. We need a switch actuator right here too. Let's do that. It's not what we want, right? We'll change that here in a little bit. And now we can actually change this. Alright, that is cooled off. We can put some more water in it. Let's just push this train along. Over to my water source. Change this back. Gotta be really careful, like I said. Really don't want that to blow up. Right. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. All right. Let's heat that back up, and as soon as we heat it up, we'll head back up there, and I'll meet you up there. And we'll set this back up on the other side, and then it should start doing its loop. Alright, now that that's set up there, should be able to just put this on through. Excuse me. And now we've got this filtered to carts and oil. It should not stop that. And those other perfect. Let's do immediate. That way if it runs out of oil here, it'll still let it go. We'll let those fill up, and the train will fill up, and we'll ride it back. Now I'm going to add these filters on here. So that way when we do a refueling station, these don't get filled up with water. Basically we're saying these are only for oil. And this will only fill them with oil, which is going to be important when we do that refueling station to put water in here. So that way we don't keep pumping water where it doesn't belong. Alright, and we're just about full, so we'll go ahead and ride this back to base. Turn the speed on you. Alright, we'll let this go ahead and get unloaded, and that'll be it for today. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll get the Buildcraft oil stuff set up next episode. See you then.